everybody. Welcome to episode 2 of our travel series. Joel and Jillian, both retirees, traveling around the world, Jillian. Anyways, we are in front of the Grand Bazaar here in Istanbul. You cannot make a trip to Istanbul without visiting the Grand Bazaar. It's a pretty incredible place. It spans over 61 streets. It's over 30,000 square meters in size. It was founded in the mid-15th century. It's very, very old, and it's got something like 4,000 different vendors and shops. Anyways, we've got two key objectives today. Hey, Jill? Jillian's going to wheel and deal. She's going to haggle and make a deal on some jewelry. I want to find the best kebab. And then I think the other two things is we're going to maybe find like a little hidden gem. And whatever that hidden gem is, I'm not quite sure. And then finally, let's get into the cultural aspect of Turkey in general, which it's a pretty unique country. Hey, hun?
Yes.
Very similar in a lot of ways to Mexico, but very specific. It's very Turkish. Anyways, without further ado, let's go in. Got this new Osmo, and I love it. It's an awesome camera. Still kind of getting used to it, especially to make sure I am not looking too high or too low. But anyways, we just came into the entrance of the bazaar, and just lots of shops right off the hop. I don't know, we're gonna walk the whole 61 blocks still. Basically, you can go anyway. Here's the thing, like once you're in here, it's literally covered streets. And so we're basically going block to block. So it does kind of work on a bit of a grid system. I don't think you can really get lost in here. You're eventually going to pop out somewhere. Oh, the other thing about Istanbul and Turkey, I think it's probably got one of the highest per capita rate of smokers in the world. And even in the bazaar. All right, so for my gold and silver bug friends, it's pretty cool. All these little stores where you can get silver bars, like there's 1,000 grams, 500 grams, 250 grams. You got the little pellets. You have the 1,000 gram, 500 gram, 250 gram, and a 50 gram of silver. And you can get the pellets, which I have pellets, and I have the coins, and then you can get the gold bars as well. And a lot of times people will come and like take their cash, and they'll buy silver and gold, and they just hold the physical at home. And you know what would happen if money disappeared one day in Turkey? It would be a little bit of chaos, but people here would figure it out. Everyone in Canada would be crying to Mark Carney. They wouldn't know what to do, you know? But Canada has no gold. Here they would just figure it out. You know what I mean? Well, I wanted to buy 2 little gold coins, Jillian, but it was cash only, and I don't have enough cash, so the next time we come to Turkey, I have to bring some cash to trade cash for coins, right? Yeah, so Jillian and I got a really good history about when we're in a quieter place, we'll talk about it. Like, it's kind of funny because when we approached him, he didn't really look too engaging, and then he kind of finally he started talking about the history of, you know, how Turkey became Turkey, basically, transitioned from Ottoman Empire to modern day Turkey, and he was very passionate about it. I wish I got that on camera, but we'll go over it a little later. Hello. It looks good. I have to come back. day 2 here in Istanbul. Awesome city. I mean, love this city. We had a great night last night. We went out for a nice dinner. Didn't really do any video, but what was the name of the restaurant? Anyways, I'm going to put it in the link. I might talk about it later. Met a cross-eyed kitty though. That was kind of cool. And we had a nice bottle of wine. But what are we doing today? Our goal is to find Jillian a carpet. We're going to find you a carpet, right, Jill? And people think, well, if you're going to go negotiate with a Turkish carpet salesman, I mean, I think they're going to walk all over you, Jillian. Sorry to say. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Okay, well, I think this is the place. Let's take the plunge and go in.
Merhaba.
I'm good. How are you doing?
Thank you.
This is the fine young gentleman that tried to sell my wife a carpet yesterday, but she didn't make a decision.
Yes.
So we have to see all those carpets all over again. Lots of carpets. I guess that's what you sell here, yes?
Well, we are one of the biggest wholesalers.
Okay, in Istanbul.
Yes.
It's a beautiful space too.
Thank you. Yes.
Was this a home at one time?
Yeah, like about 100 years ago, it was home.
100 years ago it was a home. So this is your grandfather's house?
Yeah.
Okay.
Third generation continue.
Okay.
Business.
And he started the carpet business?
Yeah, he was. He was starting in the time.
Okay.
He was buying carpets from the village and bring here and sell.
Nice.
Okay, in Turkey we do have 3 different techniques that we make carpets and kilims. The specialty of the embroidering technique that's come from eastern part of Turkey, from the mountain near the One Lake. The Kurdish people who live up that mountain, they do make these things. First they weave the base as a kilim, then they design with needle. 2 techniques they use. That's why it's very, very durable. And material is 100% wool. They get the color from the plants, from leaves of the trees, from the flower, anything in the earth, vegetables, they can get the colors. And this is same technique, embroidering technique, but with animal figures, you see it. Why they use animal figures? Because, you know, in that area, they used to believe in holy animals. Before the Christ in 3000, in these days, the pagan believed. They used to believe holy animals. That's why they keep make animal figures in their weaving, immemorial times, now on. And the second technique is carpet, knotted with pile. The specialty of this style, it should change from each angle. Then it's a good quality carpet. Now you are seeing a darker part. When he flip it over, you will see a lighter part. And now it's a lighter, yeah. It's a magic Turkish carpet. Yeah.
Does it fly?
Yeah, sometimes. If you drink a bottle of raki, you sit on it and then you fly. In Turkey, each area has got their dominant colors and traditional design. Let's say if you go mountain part, you find mainly a high cutted pile. If you go western part of Turkey, seaside, it's a shorter cutted pile. And as I said, each area has got their dominant colors and traditional design. Well, this is from central part of Turkey. This is carpet map here. And all Turkey, they make carpets. And each of the symbol is belong one area. And of course, we do have all kind of carpets for hallway. And we are shipping door-to-door delivery, of course.
So anywhere in the world, yeah?
Yes, anywhere in the world. And here, this is we call in Turkey kilim. Kilim is flat woven, also handmade. This is a third technique. From left to right, in and out with needle. They create one kilim this size in couple mounts. All around Turkey, they make carpets, and this is carpet country. You can come and buy carpets and help Turkish economy.
Well, what do you think, Jillian? Is anything calling to you?
Well, always.
Huh?
Always.
Who doesn't like a nice carpets? You know?
It's
It's a very nice one as well.
This is the one that Jillian really likes, but I don't know if I can afford it. How much would that be?
Well, something like this, it's about a good price, wholesale price, we can make like $600. Öbür taraftan şey.
So this is a smaller carpet, but very beautiful.
It's a beautiful piece. Three material they use, silk, wool and cotton with needle embroidering technique. It's a piece of art. You can hang it as a painting, you can use on the floor, anywhere you like.
So this was the
It's from eastern part of Turkey.
eastern part of Turkey.
Yes, that's come from eastern part of Turkey, from the Van area, the eastern part of Turkey, near Iranian mountain. They still make this over there in primitive ways. It's all natural.
And how much was this one?
550. Well, normally it's much more, but
But you're doing
we did a very good deal.
We drank a lot of tea here
In
yesterday.
yes.
And Jillian was she wasn't moving. Well, yeah, so this is the carpet we're going to buy. And I think it's going to make a beautiful addition to our home. And every time we wake up in the morning, go to bed at night and see that, we'll think of you guys.
Yes.
Our Turkish family,
Of course.
right?
Of course. You have a family now in Turkey. Anytime you're welcome to our store.
All right, everybody. So this was our Turkish shopping experience, and obviously you're going to come in and you become
Have a
family.
tea. Yes.
And you have some tea, you sit down, and you enjoy this beautiful space, 100-year-old home, and all this beautiful carpets throughout. It's really, really amazing. And thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for your time.
Thank you. It was a pleasure
Okay.
to meet with you.
So I hope everyone enjoyed that video of our little carpet buying experience. And I wish I actually had the camera when we first went. You know, we really didn't intend to do anything. And here in Istanbul, and you have to be prepared for it. If you're walking in the tourist area, and specifically if you kind of look like you come from the United States, everyone thinks we're American. And they kind of like chuckle when I say we live in Mexico. And then when I say we're Canadian, they kind of get it. Anyways, as we were walking through there, we were approached by Savaş Demir, and he's a really outgoing guy, spoke English, also a little bit of Spanish, and even a little bit of Italian. But this is essentially what happens. You're walking in the main square, and you'll be approached. It's almost kind of like when you're in Mexico, you kind of got like the timeshare kind of thing going on. But hey, they're here to hustle a little bit and try to get you into one of their shops to make a sale, because there's lots of competition. So it's all about, you know, making that relationship, closing that initial sale to get you into their shop to make another sale. You know, at the end, it was like a lovely experience. We got to sit down, and, you know, they were wanting to make a deal, right? So it's like, sit you down, you get your tea, you have a little bit of small talk, and then the presentation comes. And again, I wish I had the camera during the presentation, because, I mean, we must have saw like about 100 different carpets. If you're ever in Istanbul and you want to buy an authentic carpet, you need to go to Ottomania, and you need to see Zia. And Zia was the fine young gentleman that gave us the full meal presentation, and I learned a lot. All right, well, it's time to say goodbye to Istanbul. 3 days. Hey, Jillian.
It's great.
In the taxi heading to the Istanbul airport. There's actually 2 airports in Istanbul, so make sure if you do come here or you book a flight, that you know which airport you're going to, because if you go the wrong one, they're quite far apart, so you definitely don't want to do that. But we're heading to Rome. But I'd say Istanbul's got a very special place in our heart. You know, this is our third time here, and we've really only spent 3 days at a time every time we've come. And we keep saying, you know, we got to come back and spend some considerable time. So maybe, you know, one day in the future we'll rent a small apartment here and spend a couple 3 months just to absorb the city. But you know, from here we can do, you know, some other travel, because I'd like to see more of Turkey. But I like the idea of a home base, and maybe we get a nice little apartment here and we can just kind of do some weekend getaways. The wine in Turkey is pretty incredible. You know, Jillian and I love our wine, and we're starting to explore more Turkish wines. That's pretty well all we drank when we were here, and we definitely found some good juice along the way. And they definitely have their wine country where you can go, you know, stay at some wineries and learn about Turkish wine making. I think a lot of the Turkish wines are made in the old school way, very organic, which is pretty cool, and a lot of small batch production. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video part of getting to Istanbul. And again, we'll break this whole trip down with one big summary on how we booked it. But Aeroplan points from Mexico City with a 5,000 point extra to do a stopover in Istanbul, pretty well a no-brainer. And so we were able to fly Turkish Airlines business class to Istanbul, which was, I kind of give it a solid 4 out of 5. You know, there was a little bit of lacking in the service, but you know, the comfort, everything else was there, and the food was delicious. So now we get to go on a 777 on a 2.5 hour flight to Rome, and yeah, looking forward to, you know, seeing what the service is going to be like on a 2.5 hour, you know, flight in Europe. Are we going to get a little meal, or are we just get a little snack? We have no idea. All right, everybody, on that note, thanks for joining us for this episode. I'm Joel, the Accidental Retiree. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel so you can find out more what it's like to be retired in a beautiful country like Mexico, which allows us to do trips like that, like this. Hey, Joel? All right, everybody, nos vemos. Hasta luego and adios desde Istanbul.